Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Get Real About Love Tips with
Hi.
Piane. And this is Clayton Norcross, my handsome co-host.
Hello,
And
everybody.
we are always talking about something fun. We got some, return comments from last week. And I think that people, percentage-wise, people have written to me, I'm 50-50, I'm 90, So we love your comments. So we love doing this, right? And today,
Yep.
people are talking, Clayton is dealing with this. His friends and all my clients are saying, how can I improve my online dating profile? People aren't getting
Everybody's going
results.
online. You know, it's
Yeah.
the new COVID reality.
Yeah, it sure is. But are you really marketing and branding yourself properly? So how, when I was online dating, people now they swipe. All you have to do is look at pictures. So if your pictures aren't new and they're not recent and current, it is time to get some new pictures. I do have
Well,
a lot of photographers that I know that are fantastic if you need that. But don't just do the selfie thing, make sure you have good lighting and you look good, because first impression is the lasting one, right?
well, it is,
So,
and I think you need to take a range of pictures that express aspects of your personality. You
yeah,
know, not just how
yeah.
you look in a bikini or the close-ups, and it reveals a lot about how someone feels about themselves, about the pictures that they choose.
You told me one time you saw all dogs or something, like a woman had all these dogs.
Yeah, she clearly is a dog person, and so she had, like, I think, one picture of herself and 4 or 5 of her with her dogs, or just the dog. And I'm like, okay, but I'm here to meet you, not your dog. You
Well,
know,
a lot of people are complaining that, they don't show up as if they were online. So a lot of people are doing video chatting or
right?
doing Zoom. Like I'm doing a Zoom flirting class, and you have an opportunity to meet people from the opposite sex right there. And
Yep.
people don't, some people are afraid to go on. So how, in dating, is that some of, a thing that would be a warning sign if somebody doesn't want to be on video?
Well, that's a middle ground, I think, that's become very prominent. A lot of the sites have those video chat options, and I think it just makes sense before you spend a lot of time to go meet some total stranger, to have a phone conversation and maybe do a video chat, adjunct or a separate call from that, just so you can get their vibration. I feel like I learn a lot more from doing that. But
That's where you
it's
learn flirting too. Like if you're having a rapport with somebody, you can learn how to flirt with them online to see if there's an interest or not. You can
sure.
tell by body language. And in my monthly flirting classes, which we're going to be on this week,
Mhm.
um, I, would invite anybody to join us so that you can learn how to flirt online, how to flirt in person, and it's a lot of fun. So how do you feel that people are getting your attention online? And I have to check one of the plugs over here to make sure we're on. Keep
Well,
going,
I
Frank.
find that people who choose good pictures, they express a confidence about themselves that is very obvious. They choose, not doesn't have to be 20 shots. It can be 5 or 6 well-chosen shots, that show you in your athletic wear. That sends a message. A couple of close-ups, a couple of character shots where you're making a funny face, and it's okay to have one with your dog if that's a really important part of your life. So I think it requires a little bit of thought, and then of course writing the profile is really important. I read profiles because I want to know a little bit about what's behind this pretty face, and
A
see
lot of
if it's
people don't really worry about that, and they write really lame profiles. So in my flirting class, I talk about that. So all these people that I taught, a lot of them showed me their profiles. I was like, oh, no wonder. The things you wrote about yourself are very shallow or non-existent. There's no emotion. There's no algorithm matches. Realize
ah,
every time, did you know this? This is a secret. Every time you change your photos or move your photos around and put a new one in, you go right back up to the top. And when you change the words, it changes the algorithms of the words that match you. That's why in the book I talk about all the adjectives. How would you describe yourself? And it's not an easy thing for people to sell themselves, but what would you say about yourself right up front? So you would say, give me like 10 seconds of a brief description of Clayton.
well,
Who are you, Clayton?
I'm a very athletically minded man. I really believe in staying fit, and that means eating well. It means working out regularly. It means
Yeah.
I would really like to be with someone else who's also sportive, so I can share a lot of who I am with that person. So I'm looking for compatibility. I'm looking for someone who has a lot of integrity, who has a spiritual mindset. You know, that purview of life is really pivotal. So what I value is what I put in my profile, and I think it will attract people who read my profile and want that also in their lives.
Well, that point is, what are your top values? You know, mine, I would ask men. So in the book, I have hundreds of questions to ask on dates, right? Once you know what your value is and your vision is, then you look through those questions and you can ask questions that are equal to your value. And then you ask them and you'll know within 10 questions whether somebody's aligned with who you are. That's on top of being physically attracted and having chemistry and all
Sure.
those other things. But it's still, you save yourself time, energy, because if you have chemistry without the value match, people get heartbroken. They get involved quickly. I hear these stories. I've met him. He was the love of my life on paper. But then when they dated, they realized he really wasn't who he said he was, or she wasn't who she said she was. Over, you know, they condensed a relationship into a short period of time. So if you want long term, slow down, get to know somebody. That's why COVID's been a blessing in a way for many
Yeah.
people, because you don't have the time to rush into love, which I have articles about. Do not be a fool and rush into love. But getting to know each other through, you know, first Bumble or then your first date, and then having time to get to know each other and your lifestyle match, right?
Yes, and I think that the profiles are really powerful. Like you note, the algorithms, you know, that's largely invisible to a lot of people. But
Yeah.
if you write something, I can always tell a lady who has a really good grasp of the language. She knows how to write, saying, you know, I'm looking for this. I value this, and
Yeah.
that tells me a lot about. They put a lot of thought into what they wrote, and it's probably going to reveal much more than somebody who just says their name, you know, their measurements and a couple of selfies in a bikini. You
Yeah.
know, that sends a completely different message.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for that. You know, sex is fun. I love it. It's enjoyable. But I want to share that eventually with someone that I'm really compatible with, so that it
Yeah.
has a beautiful fit rather than just a temporary excitement. So it's all about
That's true.
taking it from the superficial to something that has soul value.
Well, that's why when people are going through heartbreaks, they're frustrated in the dating game. Part of it is the doubt, right? Last week we were talking about how much of you believes in love, but how much have you taken time to actually visualize or do, like I did, a vision journal
Ah,
years
yeah,
ago, and there's a quick,
sure.
quick look at the before of my husband, somebody that wanted a commitment and
Wow,
love. And
look at all your words.
yeah, it's all about how you describe a healthy lifestyle, commitment, joy, you know, and it says you're ready for love, right? So I really, really got into my feelings, and this, I did this about a home, a first home, and a dog. This looks like my dog. This looks like my bedroom. This was done like 5 years, even 4 years before I met my husband. But doing a vision and feeling it when you go to bed, like I used to look at this picture and I'm like, how would I feel if this guy was going to be walking into my house? Would I be ready? So that's our next question, Clayton. We talked about this in person before we talk. What is your place like? Your love nest? Get yourself ready in advance for the person that you're writing about and you're visioning. So, you know, you have your place together. Don't you think that's important to a man, for a woman to have a nice, you know, love nest when you come over?
Well, it's welcoming too. You know, it can be everything from the place smells good to she's got a cold beer in there for a thirsty man. You know, it all speaks of a welcoming. Now, I have an Italian soul. You have Italian blood all through you. And I think the Italian lifestyle is very hospitable. It's very welcoming to strangers. And I love that about the country there. So it's about.
We're going to have to end right now on this. As we continue in part 2, we're going to give you a little bit more tips on how to prepare for love and update your profile. So we're going to be back on Get Real About Love tips. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. Okay, Clayton, we got to get back into this preparing yourself in advance for love, right? This has to do with your profile, but then when you put those words from visioning into your profile and then get your lifestyle set up in advance, I'm always telling people, get ready now. During COVID, people are redoing their yards, they're redoing their paint, you know, they're livening up their environment, not only to stay busy, but to create a new space, you know. So if your mind isn't feeling like, wow, I don't know if this is going to happen. Imagine it coming in like the next 30 days. So what would you be doing right now, Clay, in the next 30 days, or advise people to do in the next 30 days if they knew the love of their life was coming?
Well, as we mentioned, I would look at the pictures. Are these pictures, these 5 or 6 that I've chosen, are they expressing each one a dimension of my personality?
Yeah.
Am I expressing my values and
Yeah.
what I'm looking for in a partner?
Yeah.
Am I a hookup guy, or am I looking
Yeah.
for a long-term relationship
Yeah.
with ease, grace, and dignity to build into that? And that's
Yeah.
where I'm coming from, But there's people all over the map. You got to find out who they are. I have a maid come to my house twice a month and goes through it top to bottom. That's another way that I invest in being a welcoming place for someone new in my life. I went to the market the other day and bought myself.
Woo!
And
That's
I
so,
didn't
a
buy
woman
these
would
for me.
think, oh, he has a girlfriend. She brought flowers. I love flowers. And, when I go back and forth between LA and Vegas, I usually always have flowers. I'd love to have them in the house. So
Well, they
that's
say some.
awesome, but how you treat your home and your love nest and prepare, it gets you in the space. And then we're going to be talking next time about the rituals to prepare you for love. But when you're online, you're on Match or Tinder, everything has to kind of match. But guess what? People find you and they can look on your LinkedIn, your Facebook, they can look at all your pictures, and they kind of get the lifestyle that you live. So if you have a player vibe, or you have all these different women every month, they're going to be like, oh my God, I can't go out with this person. Same thing with guys. They could say, oh my God, I looked up this girl and she has like all these different men on there. I'm wondering, is she a player? And I said, well, the only way you're going to know is to go out with her. But if you're aligned with your own vision, then you're going to know what to ask people to see if they're your match, and that's really, really important. So in here, I have all these questions, and we were talking about in the last portion, values, right? If you know family or religion, or, somebody that is educated, it all depends on your, fitness or eating habits. A vegan might not want to marry a person that eats meat, so you have to know yourself
Yeah.
so well that you ask the questions right up front. The first time you meet on a call, if people are afraid to go on video, you wonder why. So we wanted to talk about that. Like, be prepared in a space in your home with nice lighting, and make sure that you meet people through video or FaceTime or Skype or Zoom, whatever, so you can get a vibe for them. And a lot of people don't do that. They don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's
So
amazing
has
to
that
me.
happened?
Yeah, one of my preliminary steps before I even meet someone is I generally will ask for a video chat. And it's surprisingly how many women are uncomfortable with chatting on video. And I'm sure that each one of them has unique reasons, but I think a lot of women feel like unless they look super duper when you offer that, it becomes an insecurity for them. And so I always try to say, hey, when are you free to do that? So it's not something that I'm demanding on the spur of the moment. But a lot of people are using it to find out if this profile and these pictures I'm looking at are indeed real, or is this someone using an archive on a computer and marketing something, or trying to send me to a pornographic site or something like that. So there's it's the electronic street. You can't be too careful, I think, and you just learn that you save a lot of time by saying, hey, let's chat a little bit. I just like to know who you are, and I learn a lot more by being able to see someone's body language.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's why I teach the flirting classes that we do, and I know you took
Yeah.
it last time. A lot of people said that they really changed their mindset about flirting, because it's really just seeing if you have that same vibe when you make a move. Guys are really afraid sometimes of approaching women because of the past Me Too stuff. But at this point, with masks and everything else, people got to step out, right? So online is the same thing. When you see somebody that you like, take the risk, make sure you read. And what happens if you don't have good adjectives to describe yourself, you're not going to get as many matches. So what I do is I look at the profile, I look at the words, and then I add the words that are it's almost like Instagram, right? You add the words that are keywords that are going to talk about your values, and then they match them. But if you don't have enough adjectives about yourself, or not really. You say, I don't want to say that I'm attractive. I'm like, attractive is, a guy said to me this morning, his profile was kind of vanilla. And I said, you need to make, like, I'm a one-man woman. I'm looking for long-term commitment. I want to travel. He had nothing in there about them as a couple, right? So visualize in advance. That's why when you have a vision board or you write down how you're going to feel when you go to bed at night, every time you go to bed, you should think, God, what is it going to feel like when this man, I used to look at this picture, and my husband is a businessman. He looks almost exactly like this. You can go to my website, reneepiane.com, and look at our love story, which would inspire you. Read love stories. Ask people how they met. Get in the zone of feeling what it's going to be like to have your home, your dog, and this looks just like my dog, and this was 3 years before. I had him everywhere on my phone. So visualize. And then when you go to bed, you visualize this feeling, and then you ask questions that are aligned with your values. So I'm sure you're doing that now, Clayton, like never before, right? And you're catching like, nope, yes, nope. You know, you can kind of rule people out.
Well, yeah, it gets very clear because you get clear, first of all, on who you are. You
Right.
express that in your profile, and then you begin to attract people who at least are intrigued about that, and then find out where they are on the map. And so for me, it's a big exploratory thing as I open my heart again gradually, and just very objectively, just say, who is this person? Let me see what I really resonate with them. I can see that she's an attractive woman, but you know, does she value health? You know, is she into fitness? Does she like to do some of the same things that I do? Does she live anywhere near me? It's surprising because sometimes the site will send you people who live 1,000 miles away, and I'm like, this long distance thing.
You can't rule that out because I met my husband and he lived 3,000 miles away. So anything is possible. I believe that if it's meant to be, you know, people try. I had a friend who lived here in Vegas, and she said it's really hard to meet people. I said, you should be in the lobbies. There's a lot of people that come in and out of town. And she met a man in a lobby restaurant who he saw her sitting alone. She was there probably 4 times having lunch by herself. And this man approached her, and he was from Philadelphia, and she lived out here. And they ended up meeting there, and they had a long-term relationship, long distance relationship over a year. And then she moved to Philadelphia. He got her own place, and they ended up getting married this year. So she couldn't believe it. It's just wherever you are, there is magic that happens if you're ready mentally and you believe that love exists, and then you prepare yourself in advance with the clothes that you're going to wear on dates. So even when I teach flirting, you should learn how to flirt, how to connect. People are scared right now. The only things we have is our eyes and our mouths now. We're covered, half the people don't wear masks. Some cities are open, some aren't. But I have met the most interesting people just by saying, how are you doing during the corona? And they're like, oh my God. And they tell me everything, right? So open your heart, get a vision, align with who you are, speak it, pray it, meditate about it, and then really be clear. So when somebody says, well, what are you looking for? Clayton just described in our last session exactly a description of the woman that he wants. So do you know how to do that? Do you know how to articulate that on all the platforms? So right now, Clayton, I bet you women will be looking you up, number one, on Facebook, Instagram. So people look you up everywhere. Once they meet you, they go, wow, I know the person's name.
They Google
you.
Sure.
Look at how you look online, because people look up your history. People call me to go into business. I look them all up everywhere, and I look at how they market and brand themselves. So if you need help with that or an update on your profile to get results, call me. I love doing that, and I can't wait to read yours. I'm going to have to read yours, because once you read this material, you get to know yourself, and you're so real about who you are that then you're going to magnetize who you are. So I think you found that, Clayton, that you're now in this new zone of magnetism, and it's going to it all reflects on your work, friendship, and love, right? Wouldn't you say?
And taking your time. And I think it's also about really loving yourself enough to say, you know what, I don't want to be in denial about what I'm attracting. I feel like I'm a really good person. I have these really admirable values. I really want that in my partner, and not compromise it. And, you know, I may not like the same things that you like or the next guy. There's somebody for everybody, I believe.
Yeah.
So just the fact that I like someone who's fit, for example, doesn't mean that someone who is overweight, for example, is a bad person. It just means that a different type of person may be more appropriate for them.
Yeah.
So with that disclaimer, we just, we can share love with everybody. You know, I'll talk to lots of different gals that I don't feel any particular resonance with, but I can be loving and kind to them
Yeah.
and generous with them, and, you know, ask what they're looking for and say, oh, gee, I see that we don't have this in common, this, and this. Not sure we're a match, but I'm really grateful to have talked to you.
Yeah.
And it creates a beautiful tone of camaraderie in this online world that we're in now.
And openness. Keep open to love. Keep saying what you want. Look at couples that have the kind of love that you want and ask them how they met. Stay inspired. So next week, we're going to be talking about the rituals that you can practice every day so that you can keep in that mental zone. And in the meantime, go take a look at your profile, see if you can spice it up. As you're getting dressed every day to go out, wear things that make you feel like, wow, what if I met somebody today? Whether you're in athletic wear or casual wear or dressy, you know, whatever your career is, if you're working, but still get ready as if someone is coming. So if you knew, this is the last question for you to think about, and I'd love to hear from you. We love hearing your comments.
Yes.
If you knew that the love of your life was coming in 30 days, what would you be doing right now to prepare in advance for that? So I invite you to write to us, to send your reply, because as you get ready for love in advance, it speeds up the universe to go, wow, I think Clayton's ready. Or I think, you know, when I said that and I got my place ready and I told people I was ready and I was being positive instead of going, God, I can't get over this person. People waste too much time ruminating over the past instead of designing their future. So that's what I help people to do every day. And I feel like, Clayton, you have been so raw and real. And thank you again. I say this every week, but for people to be honest about where they were, you know, 6 months ago, 4 months ago, and you transform to get real with your heart. And every night, expect love to come. And it shows up in the most mysterious and wonderful, almost like wow ways. I have lots of fun stories about that. We'll have to share some of those as well. So let's get, we'll wrap it up, Clayton. Thank you for sharing it once again. And we're going to miss you as you go forward. He's going to do a movie very soon. So we're excited for you.
Thank you, dear.
But in the meantime, I can't wait to, we'll see the progression of your, I guess, reinvention, you know, your reinvention. So I invite everybody to pick up Get Real About Love. And I know, Clayton, you always call it like a Bible to refer to. So, you know.
I got my copy, and it's easy to find on Amazon. So,
yeah. So
and it's probably on your website too, yes?
Yeah, it's on my website. I have lots of blogs, and I have flirting classes, and I do offer anyone for a private consultation with me if your heart feels pulled to talk to somebody about your situation, or maybe I can look at your profile and give you a couple minutes of a tweak. But people do, if you want real support, I'm here, and this is my passion. So God bless you. Come to my flirting classes. Come join us each week.
How do they find your flirting class?
My flirting class is on reneepiane.com under events or classes. It's all over the internet.
Great.
Just look up Flirting with Life class, and it's coming up. It's once a month, but it is coming up this month on this Thursday night. You can look it up, and I have it every month. So we are here spreading the love. That's what we're doing. We want you to believe in love. I believe in love for Clayton and for anyone as they go through a reinvention. Be good to your heart all the time so you can keep your heart light on. People need love in this world, and that is my job. And Clayton has so joyfully joined me to give the male perspective. So I thank you very, very much.
Thank you, dear. Love you.
All right. So let's wish you, everybody, go out and flirt with life. Join me and Clayton. He'll be there. He comes once a month sometimes if he's not on a movie set somewhere. So we're wishing you all blessings. Go out there and make a difference and get yourself ready for love. And we'll talk to you very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.